It's a great pleasure to come your way on Business Live. This is where we bring to you some business activities trending across the country. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji, and in this edition, hoteliers begin campaign to get authorities to review fees charged them by some mandated organizations, citing recent power crisis affecting their activities. Some oil marketing companies backed down on earlier decisions to raise fuel prices by over 10%. And two university students studying to become environment scientists start a business in media content packaging. Their reason to change the African narrative. That's on the Joy Business Van. These are the headlines, of course, and other stories coming your way over the next 25 minutes or so. My name is once again Emmanuel Abuaji. You can always stay interactive with us by tweeting at Joy Business GH and on Facebook, Joy Business page. Don't go away yet. We're coming back shortly with the details.
Business Live today is brought to you by GCB Bank.
Thanks for staying. Welcome back to Business Live. Now, hoteliers have started a campaign to get authorities to review fees charged them by various bodies. The charges, they say, are negatively affecting or impacting their businesses already hit by the recent power crisis. They are particularly concerned about the charges by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, which was recently approved by Parliament. Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Ghana Hotels Association, Edward Akanyameke Jr., has been speaking to Joy Business.
We have various regulatory bodies. The hotel industry is regulated by the district assemblies in terms of the business operating permits. And then because they are properties, we also pay the property rate. Then we have the Environmental Protection Agency, we have the Food and Drugs Authority, and even within the district assemblies, we have what is called a suitability report and all those ones. Let me cite a specific example. Just recently, we got information that the Environmental Protection Agency had increased its rates. And for a five-star hotel, which in the past was paying, say, about 4,000 a year for EPA permit, it's now going to pay 200 cedis per room per year. Yes, 200 cedis per room per year. So you can do the multiplication. And then you come to TV licenses, which is also paying per TV. Okay, you look at the number of rooms. If you take moving pick, you're talking about 160 rooms. At least 200 plus rooms. You see, so it's not a fixed fee from the bodies. They charge according to the services that they provide. Okay, and of course it depends on the category of the hotel, right from budget hotel, the very small ones, to the five-star hotels, which are quite big and pay a lot. So we have had issues with these rates. And I'm using EPA specifically as an example because their increase has been very astronomical. And we had a meeting with them last week to complain. Unfortunately, it's been sent to Parliament. Parliament has approved it, so we have no choice but to pay. But we are fighting for a review of it in the next year because they themselves agree on hindsight that they have charged us too much.
The current standoff over the exact amount of increase in price of petroleum products may not go away anytime soon. This is because energy think tank Institute of Energy Studies, IES, has backed the National Petroleum Authority to dismiss purported hikes in prices of petroleum products. The think tank recent analysis explains that on the back of an increase in the national fuel stock and the stability of the local currency against major trading currencies, any significant increase in diesel and petrol prices for the second October pricing window from October 16 would be wrong. The principal research analyst of the Institute of Energy Security is Richmond Roxon.
If anybody is guided by the fundamentals in determining the prices of fuel, the person should know that we are not supposed to be having any change in prices, and that any change in price of fuel at this time around is just motivated by greed and just unnecessary profiteering. That is what we must make clear. The price rise on the global market was as a result of speculation by OPEC. In fact, OPEC's decision to cut down production. That's what led to the rise in prices. If you observe, you realize that Russia, who is a major player when it comes to OPEC, is not holding their part of the deal, and as such has affected what OPEC plans to do. If you take into consideration this, you realize that the planned production, cut in production that was planned is not going to happen. Even if it happens, it's not going to have the impact that OPEC expected it to have, because the main reason for doing that was to drive prices. But if you look at the prices again, you will see that prices have dropped ever since that thing was done. If you compare prices when this decision was made about 2 weeks ago to now, it's dropping.
Meanwhile, some oil companies earlier disputed the National Petroleum Authority's claim that prices have not gone up by more than 5%. But indications are that some oil marketing companies are now backing down on their earlier position of increased margins. The managing director of Engen, Henry Akwabwa, in an interview with Joy Business, says the company has now revised its projections following critical analysis.
As at yesterday, there were some projections as to what percentage increase was going to happen with this window. We did have our initial projections, but eventually when we finally set the prices, we're doing an increment of between 3 to 4% on both products. So, I mean, the beginning of every window has its own projections and speculations. Sometimes you have the suppliers giving you prices which eventually they reduce to reflect market conditions. And that is what has happened now. That initially the projections were higher than what the real increases have been if you go around. If you compare to many years ago, today crude is hovering around $51 per barrel, and we've gone as high as $147 before. So I don't think that should result in the hike in prices. I mean, if you just have to look at the prices alone, but of course there are also other elements in the price build-up. Yeah.
The $6 billion oil and gas project being executed by ENI Ghana through the Sankofa field is on course to pouring out first oil by June next year. Briefing the Minister for Petroleum, Emmanuel Ama-Kofi-Boah, Managing Director of the company, Fabio Cavana, said all the necessary requirements to complete the project have been met, and the company is also ready to receive the first gas in 2018.
In terms of cost, we are absolutely online. We hope also to have some savings in the end. We have also everything on track for the oil. The FPSO is nearly completed in Singapore, and the sail away is expected at the end of January next year to become here in March. And we are trying to even anticipate the first oil from August to June. So not only is on track, but is in advanced stage. For the gas, we are expecting to have the first gas in the first half of 2018. We have some challenges, but now we're hoping with the support of the Honourable Minister, we can award the last contract, and then starting with the construction of the main facilities here, which will allow to compress the gas. The facility is being conceived in a way that compressing the gas here, the gas can reach Tema. We have to connect the two pipelines, as rightly say the Honourable Minister. But if this is done and ENI is willing to support the process, the gas can directly reach all the power plants in Tema, and this would be a big...
On his part, the Minister for Petroleum, Emmanuel Ama-Kofi-Boah, noted that the multinational Italian company has demonstrated serious commitment in working with Ghana based on social intervention projects already carried out in its operational areas even before the churning out of first oil.
ENI, before they even started, as he said, focused on health interventions, and I think that is very, very important for the community intervention. They have Asni Hospital, they have intervened in Ekwe Hospital, Aguna Junction Emergency Center, and CHIP centers and ambulances, all over the place, and it has really made a huge difference in the health of the people in this area. And I think these are the real tangible benefits of people, even before we start oil and gas production. And I think that that is why this project is important, and that is why the president has worked so hard to make sure that all the hurdles are cleared. As we've said, this is the biggest experiment of indigenous gas production in Africa. And I think that we've made a lot of progress if you listen to the timetable, where we are close to finishing the FPSO, starting oil production somewhere in the middle of next year, and pushing for gas early 2018. I think we are right on course. What we have to do now is to stay focused and make sure we can deliver the results.
You're still on Business Live. We're taking a short break here. We'll be back.
Business Live today was brought to you by GCB Bank.
Now, 2 university students studying to become environment scientists start a business in media content packaging. Their reason? To change the African narrative. But how exactly are they doing that? Watch this.
Lights, camera, action. It's another working day at Blackmore Studios. Maklistawal Kranting and Sena Avujivi, they are co-founders of Blackmore Studios, which started 3 years ago.
I think it all started when we were in school. I did environmental science. My partner here also did environmental. We were in the same class, shared the same hostel, and we used to be roommates too. So we were science students. We liked what we were studying, but we didn't really love it. I didn't love it, but he does. But I didn't really love the science. So, all I was doing was looking for content online to read about media stuff. I learned a lot from the media, YouTube videos and stuff like that, because I knew I wanted to be in the media. So that I wasn't taking my studies serious, although I wasn't failing, but I wasn't giving it my 100%. So we started one company on campus called Parago Studios.
Parago Studios was just an experiment, but it wouldn't be long. Their work would make waves, awarding them a Ghana Movie Award nomination. Out of that, Blackmore Studios was born.
That was throwing ideas around and being as creative as we can. We're blacks. This is black power kind of thing. But Blackmore is, amour in French is love. So Blackmore is love of black. We just took the A out and we fused it, so we love everything black. And we want to promote black power.
Exactly.
Take our brand, the African touch, global.
Exactly.
That's basically Blackmore Studios.
It took them a while to get off their feet, but with the encouragement of family and a passion for their cause, they pulled off their first TV production, Personality Circle.
Welcome to Personality Circle.
In the span of 2 years, Blackmore Studios has produced TV ads, jingles and content for social projects for big name brands like MTN, Jeba Natural Hair Products and No Yawa Ghana. The business is self-funded.
From the start, it's been sacrifice after sacrifice. There are days that we go completely broke, but then you have to get the job done. We are believers. When you take a job, you do it to the best of your ability. We don't look to, even anything we do, our commercials or productions, you'll see what we've done. We don't try to we don't set our standards to what we see around here. We try to reach higher because we want to do productions that maybe 10 years from now you could watch and it's still good. You like, oh wow, these guys were good.
They are on their way to making it quite a profitable venture. With the goal of being authentic to the African story, they use their platform to promote awareness on the importance of the environment. Senna and McListerwell are set to change the face of African storytelling.
We have to be real. What do we do as Africans? I mean, we like who we are. We don't have to create those fantasy stories. I mean, people watch and then these are all things we can be, these are all things we can, but then we want things we are. We want stories that represent us. And so if I see the poverty stuff in the international platforms, yes, it's true. They are not wrong for putting it there. But then they should also show the good side. I mean, I think the only bad thing they're doing is not showing the good side and portraying the poverty side. It should be balanced.
In the next 10 years, the two young entrepreneurs hope to transform Blackmore Studios into the biggest producer of African content, telling the African story from the African perspective. They recognize it's not an easy task.
The Joy Business Van was brought to you by Busy, making good things happen.
Watch a repeat of the Joy Business Van on the marketplace tomorrow at 1 p.m. Time now for the Busy Bits.
Sometimes you just need to add a table to a Word document. Here's how to add one. Go to Table on the menu bar and select Insert and then Table. Select how many rows and columns you want. Rows go across and columns go up and down. Then click OK. Your table will appear on your Word document wherever your cursor was last showing.
The University of Ghana is in the process of paying its debt and salary arrears it owes the UG Credit Union. Speaking in an interview after the annual general meeting of the union, board chairman Jonathan Anaglo disclosed the university management has assured the board of paying the arrears as soon as possible. Earlier on at the AGM, some members of the Cooperative Credit Union raised concerns about the debt portfolio of the union for the financial year 2015.
As for loans payment, the debt is not too much of a problem. We have been trying to solve it, and the registry, the human resource and the finance directorate always try to help us. See, when people are leaving the university unexpectedly, that is where the delinquency comes.
Unexpectedly, is it by the resignation or what?
Yeah, some resign, some resign, some even leave without resignation, but they still come back to the university to collect part of their monies left, and that is where we get them. So the university alerts us. But the debt coming from the university, you know, the issue came up when the government subvention to the university was not coming regularly. So sometimes 3 months arrears, 4 months arrears before government pays subvention to the university. And when it happens like that, then university borrows money to pay salaries to workers.
So in effect, they borrow more than that. They borrow more than what you are supposed to.
Yeah, they borrow more than that. But of late, when the new VC came, the subvention is flowing regularly. So they are paying us our monies. But as at the time we were writing this report, if you look at it, the university was owing us 9.4 million cedis. That is why we forced and brought the VC to the meeting.
Only salaries?
Yes, salary deductions. You see, now because of the size of our union, the deduction for every month is around 1.7 million.
And that's all in this midweek edition of Business Live, and hope you've enjoyed the package. Thank you for joining us, and do join us again same time tomorrow for another edition. My name is Emmanuel Abuachi Biafi. Keep watching.